guys! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is The Makeup Talk. Be sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos. So yeah, I love trying new products, and I've been waiting to do like a kind of one brand tutorial. So if you look right there behind, I know there's a lot of speculation and kind of hype about like Makeup Revolution because they kind of produce these like kind of dupe products. So like they just launched this foundation, and this kind of reminds me a lot of the Makeup Forever the Ultra Stick Foundation. Then they launched this Conceal and Define Concealer, which was supposed to be a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape, which I have used this and I actually really like it. I wish I would have gotten a color lighter than this because it's not really like a highlighting under eyes. It's just to conceal right now for me in this shade, and I'm in the shade C12, and the foundation I got in the shade F12. And then they have this luxury baking powder in Banana. This is supposed to be like a dupe for the Ben Nye powder, but all of these are at a fraction of the cost, so I'll be putting the cost down here. So this right here, I'm guessing is supposed to be a Makeup Forever HD foundation or the ABH foundation or a lot of other stick foundations like this. But since it's in this like little slimmer tube, it's giving me more like Hourglass vanishing foundation kind of vibes, even though it doesn't have that same little like triangle shape. And then we have the Conceal and Define, which is supposed to be like the sought after Tarte Shape Tape. And this I got in the shade C12. I wish that this was a hair lighter, so it would be more of a highlighting shade, but it still does work great. I've used this before. I did a whole video kind of comparing the two, and I do like the formula of this. Do I like it more than Tarte Shape Tape? Depends on the day. It really does. It depends on how my skin's kind of behaving. And then we have the luxury baking powder, and this is supposed to be like a dupe for the Ben Nye powder. As you can see, the packaging is very similar, almost down to a T actually, and it just has a little sifter on top there. And then I did get one of these Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Bronzers. I don't really know if this is supposed to be an exact bronzer dupe for, or exact dupe for anything, but this is in the shade Golden Days. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this. So this says it's called the Fast Base Stick Foundation. I'm gonna start off by moisturizing my skin. Oh. And if you haven't, and if you're wondering what lashes I'm wearing, these are actually individual lashes that I put on sort of in a lash extension technique. And I will have that video will either be up already or it will go up right after this one. If it is up, I'll make sure to leave it in the description box down below. I'm sorry, I don't know who keeps texting me. Now that I've let that sink in for just a little bit, I'm going to start off with the foundation stick. They sell these at Ulta, and I noticed that they have quite a bit of a range of shades, but some of the shades are only available online, which kind of sucks because it kind of goes from like F10, which was a little too light, to F12, which might be a little darker than I like. So we'll see how it works, but here's the shade right here. Do like a quick swatch there. You see, like it's a little more, I think, red than I would like, but the other shades are only available online. So if this one doesn't work for me, I might just have to get another shade. But I wanted to try out the consistency and like the formula and how it wears, and see how it blends. So we're kind of just going to draw a couple lines on our face, just kind of like, this is exactly how I do the Makeup Forever one that's also in a stick form. So I usually just draw a couple lines on my face, and then I will go in and I'm going to blend it out with this Morphe contour sponge. This is actually my favorite sponge at the moment. I've already gone through a couple of them, And I just happen to prefer this a little bit more than the Real Technique sponge, or, I mean, the Beauty Blender obviously is really nice, but it is $20. This is a little bit more inexpensive. I think this, oops, my earring fell out. I think this, and I lost the backing to this the other day, so it's surprisingly easy. It's only really fallen out like 2 or 3 times actually since it hasn't had a backing. So it looks like it's blending out pretty nicely. And the shade match isn't actually that off. But honestly, I wasn't that worried about it because I figured that, you know, the summer's coming. Okay, that needs to stop. Alright. So it looks like it's blending out pretty nicely. I wasn't too concerned with the shade, like, after I thought about it, because it is summer and I am going to get more tan. I just have, like, that skin tone that if I just have that kind of skin that if I spend even, like, 5 minutes out in the sun, I will tan. So, not too bad. So if it's a little light now, I know it'll go ahead and work a little bit later. Right now, it's that time of the month, so I have a couple more breakouts than I normally would, or at all, I guess. So I'm going to apply a little extra there. And I want to see just kind of how full coverage I can get it. Because right now, I would say that this is kind of a medium coverage. Just after doing like the couple of swipes and blending it in. So go in and blend that out. I mean, so far so good. It's definitely more on, like, I think I would say that it's more on like the luminous side than the matte side, which I don't mind because I have dry skin, so I kind of always really like that look, to look a little like glow from within type of vibe. But I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, so just be forewarned that it's a little bit of a glowier foundation. Definitely a little bit more on the luminous side. As far as coverage goes, I've really been into the Milk Makeup, the Milk Makeup Blur foundation, a Blur liquid foundation. So I'm kind of comparing it right now to that, since that is my favorite foundation at the moment. And I would say that the coverage, even putting on that second layer, is still a little medium for my liking. So this would be like kind of something I would wear every day, probably not something I would wear like on special occasions. I don't think it has that kind of coverage that I would want. Next, I'm going to go in with the concealer from Makeup Forever as well. And seeing as the foundation is darker than my normal shades, this might actually act as a highlighting concealer this time. But I bought this just a hair too dark. And I believe that the shade of concealers, they do sell them. All of them at Ulta, instead of just like some online and some, you know, in the store. However, I've noticed that like the shades from like C9 to about like C12 are always sold out. Like every Ulta. Like I have 2 Ultas. Like I have one right by my work, and I have one like sort of kind of near my house, but it's on my way home basically. So usually if I can't find something at at that Ulta, like the one right near my job, then I'll go to the one like, you know, closer on the route home. And yeah, those particular like middle of the range shades are always sold out. So apparently, I'm not the only one that's kind of digging this concealer, and definitely digging the price. I think it's like $7 compared to Tarte Shape Tape, which is about 24 bucks. And it does a very good job of covering. So yeah, this kind of looks a little bit more like a highlight shade now, so I'm kind of digging that. Instead of it looking like so flat almost. Next, I'm going to go in with the Luxury Baking Powder in Banana. So it says that the natural heat from your body will cook powder over base foundation or concealer to give you a flawless finish. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up here. Not the biggest fan of this packaging, but it's better than the RCMA packaging. It's just that the lid is like teeny, so if like, you know, typically with like a powder like a Laura Mercier or something like that, you would drop a little in the lid and kind of go from there. But since the lid is so tiny on here, I mean, it's going to be hard to like get the sponge in. And plus, once I go to cap it, you see the problem? Yeah, that'll be a kind of an issue. So I'll probably try to find, if I like this powder, see, it's kind of like hard to dip it in. If I like this powder, I'll probably find a different container to put it in. I'll just go to like the 99-cent store or something and like find a little container, which is exactly what I do with my RCMA powder. My RCMA powder sits in my Laura Mercier container because I can't stand the packaging on that powder. Don't let that be a deal breaker in, you know, trying things out, because sometimes you can repackage things and it can serve your purpose a little bit better than how, you know, they're originally packaged. I'm going to pack this on pretty heavy. This concealer, I would definitely say that I can get away with just putting Tarte Shape Tape underneath my eyes and not setting it. I can't say the same for this concealer. This concealer, I would say, would definitely have to be set. I'm going to try not to make a mess here, kind of putting this back on, but it's just, it's unavoidable, really, to make a mess using that. I'm going to do my brows off camera, and I will be right back. Alright, so brows are on. Dust away this bake using this Sigma F35 brush. Just what I had on hand. I have a different brush that I use, but these two brushes are basically the same thing. Alright, so already I'm kind of seeing that you can see. Alright, there we go. Okay, I was gonna say, I thought I was gonna like leave a mark of exactly where I put the powder. That would not be good. I never really set my entire face. I kind of just set underneath my eyes, and then I kind of take it a little bit right here on like the cheeks, so that like if I put another powder on top, then it'll blend out, you know, and it won't stick. So I usually will take like just a little bit more and just blend a little on the cheeks. See, this is already like a little too messy for my liking, really. Just a little on my nose here. And that's about it. Big mess. You guys should see what my pants look like right now. I think I got that pretty blended out. My favorite bronzer brush, which is the Time Los Angeles 101 brush. And again, this bronzer is in the shade Golden Days. I think they have a couple of different, they have like two mineralized ones, and then, or three mineralized ones, and like two like these, or three of these baked ones. So I just got this one because it said that this one was the one suited for medium skin tones. Oh my god. This is... Okay, no. My patience was thin with you. There we go. Okay. Got it. Got him! I go into this bronzer, kind of on top. It's pretty. I want to just make sure that it's like not shiny. Some bronzers can get really shiny, but so far I like this shade. Reminds me a lot of my favorite bronzer. I know this is pretty beat up, but my Hourglass Cosmetics bronzer in Radiant Bronze Light kind of reminds me of that. This is a little bit darker, as you can see, but I like the finish. A good bronzer that's like not super matte, but it's also not shiny, or it's not glittery. It's a little like a lumi, like it illuminates your face. I don't know if that's a good way to explain it. Yeah, I don't like bronzers that are like shiny, and I also don't like super matte bronzers. That's why I've never really been a fan of like the Hoola baked bronzer for bronzing, more so than I have been a fan of it kind of for contouring. It's pretty pigmented. It's showing up good on camera. It looks good on the skin. It's definitely not emphasizing anything that it doesn't need to be emphasizing, so that's fantastic. Especially considering that I'm not having the best skin day. You know how it is. When it's that time, it's just that time. I go a little all over the place with the bronzer, and then what I do is I go back with my sponge and I kind of clean it up. So I would definitely say that, like, if you can't really splurge, I bought this during a VIB sale and it's like my favorite thing in the world, but if you can't splurge on things like this, then definitely look into those bronzers. So now I'm going to go back in with my blender here, and there's a lot of excess on the sides, so I can just probably pick up the stuff on the sides to quote-unquote, like... So I'm just going to go underneath right there, like literally having to like shake it out. And it's not like shaking out onto the sponge, it's just kind of shaking out all over the place. Leave that on there for a second or two. Take this teeny tiny little MAC strip down liner. I'm just going to line my lips. Okay, now that my lips are lined, I'm going to take the shade Bear With Me from Dose of Colors. And now I'm just going to put that in right there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Truffle. Back in and dust this away. And voila! So final thoughts on the products here. I like the baking powder. I hate this packaging. So definitely going somewhere else. But so far, so good. I like the way it feels too. Like my face feels really soft where I used it. So yeah. Definitely, I like the powder. So far, yeah, it doesn't feel drying or anything, but I'll have to use it a little bit more. But I'm super impressed at how, like, powdery it is. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but some powders are a little bit more greedy and they're not as finely milled. This is a little bit more finely milled. The foundation for me, honestly, would be, and I'm sure, I don't think that they intended this to be, like, high-end, you know, I know that they're supposed to be dupes, but dupes are supposed to be kind of affordable ways to get, to achieve results that maybe would cost a little bit more. So I would say that this foundation isn't necessarily a great dupe for the Makeup Forever foundation. I'm gonna have to try this out a couple more times, just because, like I said, not having the best skin day, and I like the consistency. The coverage is okay. I wish it would apply in just, like, you know, because I put quite a few lines on my face. So the fact that it takes like 2 applications is, but it does look nice. I will say that I'm kind of impressed with how nice it looks. It definitely looks like a foundation. Like, this would be my foundation I could wear every day kind of thing, because I wouldn't feel bad about using it. You do get a decent amount of product too. Like, look at that. Pretty decent amount of product, and I think this foundation's like $8. It applied really nicely. It blended really nicely, which is another good thing. Like, it doesn't set super fast, and it also doesn't take forever to set, because there are some foundations that, like, they'll just keep kind of moving as you're putting more products on, and that can be just as annoying as a foundation that sets too early. There's just times that I'm going to need to reach for Tarte Shape Tape, but usually for everyday looks, this is what I go to. So I think, like, all 3 of these products would fit in that category of makeup you can use every day and not feel, like, terrible about, like, oh my god, I just used, like, a $40 foundation on, like, you know, to go to work for, like, a couple hours. You know, I don't know if anybody thinks that way, but I know I certainly do. It did set a little more matte than it looked when I first applied it, but it's not a matte foundation, I would say, at all. Definitely, I don't think that this is, like, the most oil-friendly foundation. So if you've got oily skin, probably not in my recommendation list for you. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm so sorry to have left you without videos for, I think it was, like, a week or two. I just had a lot of things going on and a lot that I'm trying to get caught up with, but I feel caught up. I feel good now. I would hate to, like, sit here and try to force myself to film something and then it come out like like, you know, like, tedious. And I think that that translates. If somebody's not enjoying what they're doing, you can definitely see it. I know we know those people out there that you can tell they're just making the video to pop out the video. I don't want us to be like that, so yeah. Thank you guys so much for understanding, and we're really close to that 200 subscriber mark, and remember, 200 subscribers means a giveaway, so stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe, okay? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!